Hi.
Yes, we're all very, very tired. It's been a very long week, so we may not be as highly, highly strung or with lots of bright-eyed and bushy-tailedness as normal weeks, but we are going to give it a good old college try, as we were saying in the pre-show. But basically, the new song that you heard is the upcoming song or EP that I've been doing, and it's featuring Christina V, and it's the Dragon Ball GT Italian theme song by Giorgio Vanni, and it is infamously good. Like, oh my god, his intro songs for Dragon Ball are incredible. And we are not only singing in English, but it will be in Italian as well. So any Italian fans out there, there will be an Italian version from the OG Schoolness, and of course an instrumental. So that'll be coming out hopefully next week. So you'll get that, hear that again coming soon. But anyway, now let me know what you guys think of that, if you like the sound of it. But yeah, it's derived from the Italian Dragon Ball GT theme. But yeah, this is the round table where you get a chance to throw in some of your old what-if ideas and as well as supporting the channel. And basically, it really does help us in this time of uncertainty, and we really do appreciate it. As well as getting some really cool ideas from you guys, crowdsourcing. And we always pay attention to the chat, even if you're not able to do a super chat, which you can do at the bottom of the text bar. We are always paying attention to the chat. So just so you know. And straight off the bat, Nerd King, thank you so much for your... Oh, that's a really impressive amount. Thank you so much. Not that not that all super chats aren't. It's just this one, really, really appreciated. It says, hi all, hope you're well. What if the Master Trilogy from Doctor Who Series 3 was a 9th Doctor story, as in saying it happened in Season 1 of Doctor Who, not Season 3? How would this affect the 9th Doctor battling a surviving Time Lord, as he was so fresh from the war? So basically, in short... if Christopher Eccleston was in the 50th anniversary special. It would certainly be like, I imagine there'd be a lot of dialogue about who was the 9th Doctor. There'd be a cheeky little, it's like, it'd be more like saying, I'm always known as the 9th Doctor. What are you talking about, laddie? I've been here for the longest time. I was here before you. That makes you the 10th. No, wait, I'm the 10th. What does that make me the 12th? No, go stop it with the numbers. It doesn't matter. It's like, you know that...
Why would you bother with the numbers?
It doesn't matter. Gallifrey is still gone.
I also think that you know, like, Ninth Doctor, as in Eccleston Doctor, will be more noticeably angrier around other incarnations of himself than he's usually. He wouldn't enjoy his own company.
And incidentally,
yeah, I feel like Eccleston's doctor would definitely be like the bitter curmudgeon of the group, who's not thrilled at being part of this crossover.
No, agreed. Yeah. And also, I know that Christopher Eccleston's coming back to do the audiobooks now.
So yes, I heard about that.
Great. So it took him 15 years to get over his grudge.
Yeah, it always boggled my mind because I'm just like, dude, you took the role of the Doctor for the money, even though you didn't really want to be the Doctor. You felt like you were kind of obligated to do so. Why not take the audiobook jobs for the money? Because I mean, Big Finish has been producing these things for so long, and they've got such good production quality that it's just like. Oh man!
Yeah,
Tom Baker's been making his living off of Big Finish's audiobooks for freaking decades.
Oh yes, absolutely. I spent 50 years asking people whether they'd like a jelly baby.
Would you like a jelly baby?
Would I carry you for a jelly baby? And MRDRK1 with another $50 super chat. During Frieza's absence, the Frieza Force declined in power and influence, and the Galactic Patrol made headway in cleaning up the galaxy. What if the GP had found the distress signal of Paragus and Broly first? Well, first of all, I imagine with Saiyans around, they probably would have been like... I imagine probably they would have taken this very seriously and been very careful to like send their best men. And I feel like Jarko would have been decently strong enough to take on Paragus, just about. You know, as in be able to, like, you know, detain him. But when it becomes clear that Broly is this prodigious power, I imagine we'd get an early shot of Beerus. Like, they call in their big guns, and, like, Beerus would come in and say, interesting, a Saiyan, huh? And then that's their introduction to Saiyans, and then they meet Goku in the Moro arc. Go, another Saiyan? They keep multiplying. I thought they were all gone. So
I know you kind of glossed over the Jocko handles Paragus, but then Broly pops in to say like, oh, then we'd get Beerus, but it's like, well, it's like now I'm picturing this like almost horror movie-esque situation where like
Yeah.
Jocko gets to the planet and he finds Paragus and he subdues Paragus and he thinks the problem's done, but then Broly shows up and just brutally kills Jocko. And I would just, well, I was gonna say, and I would be cheering the whole time.
yeah, because the moment that you know that Paragus would shout Broly, just
And imagine having Predator on.
What in the
Vampa.
world is a Broly?
Yeah. Imagine having, you know, Galactic Patrol members version of Predator on Vampa.
Yeah,
Yes.
kinda, yeah. Alright, okay, Viper Phoenix is next. What if Guru and Slug fused during the Namek saga?
One important thing, guys, Guru and Slug, this is just a joke in DBZ.
Yeah, it
they are
is.
not part of one being.
And
Just to
Slug
be
is
clear,
not the good one. I love that. When I first saw that, and I realized that basically Guru's like, sincerely, your evil half. And I'm like, oh god. It's like, oh jeez. That was a nice twist, definitely. But so let's say if they did fuse, you basically get you would have a super Namekian, but you would basically have an evil guy, and most likely Slug would be the dominant personality, and therefore the Dragon Balls on Namek would be toast. So pretty much that, really. And then Viper Phoenix comes in again with, not a what if really, but what if Frieza captains log Star Trek? Well, you've been getting that at the top of the Frieza turned good ones with Frieza log, Star Date. And basically, you know that he would just like, he would turn it into, it's not captain's log, it's Frieza's log. So he would just...
Emperor in Exile's log.
Yeah, you know that...
Stardate. What's the star date currently?
Is it the Frieza
Did we
date?
use star maps?
I like referring to things with my name in it. It makes me feel very good inside. Frieza's log, Frieza date. Frieza point Frieza 454 Frieza.
I don't know for that for some
Actually,
reason that go on, Sophie, go on.
oh, I was just gonna do a little bit of role play here with that thing. Be like,
Yeah,
actually,
so-
after you were ousted as an emperor, they changed the star date, so we're now using after Frieza.
What?
Oh,
Now we have to call them Frieza again. Ah.
F8.
Anyway, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But when I hear those logs, I always picture, you know, like live action Frieza, but played by 90s Patrick Stewart.
Either that or the guy who plays King George in Hamilton.
Yeah.
You know, seriously.
Oh God, yes, yes.
Alright. Okay, Viper Phoenix. What if Jiro during the Android saga revealed androids 22 and 23, and it was just the bodies of Raditz and Nappa? I'd love this really funny shot that basically, like before Jiro's lab is blown up, you just see the unconscious bodies of Raditz and Nappa. Just in the background, and like people go, wait, were those the next android? Boom! Just like, that would be a Toriyama thing to do. It's like, I see you want to see them again. Too bad. Yeah, but okay, let's just say that were the case, and he was able to then release these people. Their base power being pretty impressive, and I think based on how that Jiro can derive from them, I feel like it would be something that could work. It'd be again Return of the Saiyans, like as a mini arc.
Can you imagine like Zenkai plus Infinity Engine?
Oh man, Zenkai and oh jeez. Man, that would be
the Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was going to say, the only problem, and as a fan, of course, I love Raditz and Nappa, but the one problem with, like, having there be, like, a reveal that, like, the newest models of androids are, in fact, Nappa and Raditz's repurposed corpses, right?
Right.
And it's supposed to draw an emotional response from the viewer, clearly, you know. Even if Jiro has a logical reason for wanting to take a Saiyan corpse to experiment on and stuff like that, it's done for that reason. drawing out the response from the audience. If you wind up with the Saiyans as bad guys in the android cyborgs arc, though, the problem becomes, how often is the story going to always be about the Saiyans? Because they get so much prevalence already, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely something that you need to take into account. I mean, it'd be just like, oh, great, more Saiyans. But at the same time, you would know there'll be loads more people going like, oh, boy, more Saiyans. It's a double.
There's always people there's always people who are excited for more Saiyans.
Hey, Vegeta. Hasta la vista.
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay. So, basically...
Anyway.
Now, the next one is also from Viper. What if Maito and Condra met Cell Juniors from 17's Island? I imagine Maito would be like, these used to be us? Man, we were savages. And then Condra just like, yeah, we're stronger too. And then basically, Maito would just be wanting to study them. Study them as like primitive species, and then Condra would just want to beat them up. Like, we're stronger than them.
So Spock and Kirk, respectively.
Pretty much, yeah.
Maito's looking at them. Intriguing.
Yeah, like the thing is, like I saw people commenting that, and I forgot about this before seeing that comment. I don't forget about this now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll definitely throw in a little tidbit in a future episode.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So Manifesto had his in two parts. So basically, was what if the End of Z was retcon with Super? Lifebreaker is a massive boot. Oh, hang on, that might have been part. Manifesto. What if End of Z was retconned with Super? And part 2. What if End of Z was written better? I don't know. I thought End of Z was actually written pretty well, especially with Goku and Pan's interaction. I didn't.
Really? Well, here's the thing: is I thought that the interaction between like some of the characters was fine during that portion of it, but once you actually get into the tournament part of it, right? And you got Goku competing in this tournament, and then Uub shows up, and then everything after that's downhill for End of Z, because I thought the introduction of the character of Uub was stupid first and foremost, because I personally didn't think you needed to have some form of heavenly redemption for the spirit of Kid Buu, and it certainly didn't have to be reincarnation either. Now, as a character, I do enjoy like Uub's existence from like a representation perspective, because we unfortunately don't get a lot of visually coded people of color in Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
But my big problem was that once you get to the whole Uub thing, Goku's entire focus becomes, wow, this kid's great. I'm gonna drop every single solitary thing in my life to make this kid awesome. And it's like, dude, you've got a son, you've got family friends, you've got a wife, and you've got a granddaughter, and your granddaughter was like stoked. Yeah, your granddaughter was stoked on the possibility of training with you, and you meet this random freaking stranger, and you're like, this kid's got more strength potential than Pan, I guess. I want to train this one instead. Bye, everyone. I'll see you in Dragon Ball GT.
And by the way, I will just be kidding, as in a kid. Oh, come on, GT deserves it. Okay, let's answer the next part of that question, as in if it was retcon with Super. Well, if Super truly wrote over End of Z and basically decanonized it, like it wasn't an actual thing. So basically Dragon Ball Z ends at episode 286. Then that means the stakes in Dragon Ball would be a lot more they'd be in Dragon Ball Super. They would feel a bit more nerve-wracking because we won't be quite sure what the actual ending is. It's a bit more open-ended. Let's just say that. So it would definitely make things a little bit more like interesting in a way. So
My biggest, I mean, some things would be interesting, some things would be less interesting. Like, it would take away one of the best things that we have from the end of Z, which is teenage Goten and Trunks.
that is very true. That is again, I think as Sophie was saying, like, the initial premise of the end of Z started off well, but it kind of descends into a little bit of a Goku making questionable choices. At the very least.
Well, and that's the big thing. It still winds up being too Goku centric, in my opinion, because we don't get nearly enough focus on the end of Z to be like, yes, Dragon Ball Z is moving on. There will come there's a new generation now, and even if like looking at Pan, a new generation after that generation. So let's look to the future. Instead, what we get is, hey guys, Goku's still the center of everything, and he's got a new hyperfixation. Oh boy.
Oh. Oh dear.
It's almost sorry. It's almost like and I feel that in a lot of moments when you connect it to his biography, that Goku is the representation of Toriyama in that moment. I'm done with that series. I have something new. Bye.
Yeah, he basically was very excited about coming up with this idea, and he just shoehorned it in immediately.
Yeah.
Instead of just
I don't hate you guys. I just like the other idea more.
I just came up with this cool idea just now. I want to use it. That's fair. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Podo's next. If Philly came in cosplaying as Pigtails Videl, would you have to end the stream early? As a married man myself, I would totally understand. Oh, okay. Well,
maybe we'll ask her.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's the thing now. I'm really like... The thing is, though, being married now, it's like, we're very, like... Bless Philly, she's now gone back to school to teach and stuff, and the regimen there is so ridiculous. Like, they have to have the leaving times of classes to then take them down to the playground and then pick up the next lot of students. So by the end of it, we're all absolutely shattered. So to be honest, it should be like, should we just, like, play with the dog and then go to sleep, watch Red Dwarf to fall asleep too? It's like, yeah, that sounds nice. Quite frankly,
you guys have already hit that point of married life where it's just you're so tired that just being able to sort of sit on the couch, play with the dog,
to basically
and just kind
be
of
in each other's company and heal from the day.
Yeah. You've already reached the grandparents portion of life, and you're not even grandparents.
We're not even parents yet.
Yeah, you're not even parents.
You are the girl parent.
It just means our marriage is a good one. It's just that, for me, I'm happy. That's what I like getting out of the marriage. That's what I like. I'm fulfilled. So just that, like, at least to be able to find solace and just be like, have the chance to vent. It's always need a chance to vent. But yeah, Viper. What if Bulma one day let it slip that Yamcha was bigger down there? How would Vegeta react knowing Yamcha beat him in something? You know what? Instead of Vegeta destroying Yamcha, he's like, you know what? At least he's got one thing going for him. Yeah, as he'd just be like, okay. I would, you think I'd be mad, but no. At least he excels in something. At least he's useful in some way.
And here's the thing, it doesn't change much, because Bulma still ultimately chose Vegeta in this scenario,
exactly.
which can imply a lot of things, not to go into details.
It's not the size, mate. It's how you use it. That's pretty much it, really.
In your Saiyan armor.
Yes. Podo asks, hey Mars, have you ever heard of Kid Icarus? Since you're both British YouTubers, I was wondering if you lived anywhere near each other. Ah, Kid Icarus. I do watch Kid Icarus' stuff, and I do enjoy watching his videos with a glass of milk, as well as just like his videos dissing on Peppa Pig. Seriously, they're great. But no, but his videos are really good. I've been watching him like since 2012, so it's really been a long time. And I think he lives like maybe a couple of 100 miles away from me, but we've never had a chance to meet or anything like that. It'd be great if I could. That'd be cool. Viper. Goku meeting alien race that doesn't eat meat. Goku to Vegeta. I now understand why we used to invade these planets. How could they not? How could they not know the feeling and joy of a good burger? Oh no, they're on to me! Run! Just gotta improvise with that.
That's a good one. Sorry.
No, that's alright. I'll manifest out a third part to his thing. I prefer Good Boy Raditz' End of Z a lot more than the original, to be honest. Everyone is given limelight and better treatment for an ending. You agree? Well, of course I agree. I wrote the damn thing. I wrote the damn thing, of course
You can't really expect it. You can't really expect the guy who wrote it to be like, nah, personally, I think the Good Boy Raditz End of Z totally sucked. If I could do it over again.
We are trying to write those things to be better than the original. Of course, arguably, right? In our minds.
But yeah, ultimately, that was the idea, to be honest. And I just loved I loved the image of the one thing I absolutely loved, and it was kind of like getting back at Goku for that End of Z thing of ditching Pan. Basically, Goku goes, "Hey Pan, I'm pretty sure you're looking forward to training with me, right?" No thanks, Grampy Goku. I want to go train with my Auntie Runch. Oh. Goku gets dumped.
That'll teach you to abandon Pan in a different universe.
And then Goten basically is right there in for the save. And it's just like, that's exactly what I planned on doing. Oh.
Yeah, that I guess we can. I can train with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You'll do. You'll do. Okay.
Well, I mean, for a substitute, yeah, I suppose.
You make a good Vegeta.
I wish it was some incredibly strong tribal child that I can kidnap, but we don't have one of those in that universe.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right. Kenshin 491. What if Vegeta was promoted into the Ginyu Force as a way for Frieza to attempt to keep him in check? It's a good point, actually. Like, you know, it's ironic punishment. As in, like, Frieza just says, "You know what, Vegeta? You usually rub me up the wrong way, but I'm going to give you a chance, and you can join a thing that I rather think you would enjoy. How about you become the 6th member of the Ginyu Force?" What? No, Frieza! Anything but that! No! And then you cut to then, "Come on, Vegeta! Snap, snap! It's 1, 2, 3, Pirit 12! And down! Why am I even here? I
feel like putting him in the Ginyu Force would be more of a punishment than anything else.
That's what I'm saying. It's ironic punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely an ironic punishment. I agree, because we all know Vegeta doesn't work well with others first and foremost. It's like the only reason he got along like remotely with Raditz and Nappa is because he could push them around. So him being in the Ginyu Force, and ostensibly, you know, barring Goldo, who still has time-stopping abilities, we all know how powerful that can be.
I'm working on
barring Goldo. So barring him, he's basically, you know, he's the weakest member of the team, and he'd have to obey, which means he'd have to comply with the mandatory posing and the mandatory Toku Sentai character quirks. And so I feel like he would try to like escape. He'd be like, "Nope, I'm out," and he'd try to escape the Empire at that point because he couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, no, basically that would be his time just to kind of up sticks and just run. But yeah.
Where was that place that Raditz and Nappa died? Oh yes, Earth. I'll go to Earth. That's a backwater.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't understand, Kakarot. It made me do horrible things. Murder people, be evil and destroy planets.
Worse!
No, they made me dance.
Worse, they made me do dance choreography. Right. Manifesto. What if Masako did reactions to Dragon Ball memes on Reddit? I tried to do like a try not to laugh challenge, but it's been constantly barraged with like copyright claims, and it's just like, it's just...
Yeah, unless you're a bigger channel that can really kind of have somebody manage that for you, it's really hard. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've seen people do meme review on obviously the big name players and stuff like that, but like you get special exception when you've got 29.8 million subscribers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, pretty much. APC. What if when Cell knocks Hercule against the cliff and nearly kills him, he calls Hercule to unlock Ultra Instinct? Oh man.
Oh.
He does.
No, basically, Cell knocks him over, the mountain explodes, and then basically he's just like in the midst of all this is just like the silver afro mustache, and then what is this? And then basically just this mute Hercule. Right, you become serious, more taciturn, I see. And then just with a one punch, gone. Just like almost similar to what Gohan does in movie 12 with Frieza. One punch, smoke. Just like,
oh wow.
yeah.
And he wakes up and he's still scared and doesn't know what happened.
Yeah. But then he actually genuinely got the win. He wouldn't be a sham. So he would have. He'd be a genuine hero, APC. That's the answer. All right, Viper.
Here's the problem I could foresee, though. Is after the battle with Cell, when he exits Ultra Instinct, Hercule wants to reawaken that power so much, he winds up going on this quest to reactivate it, and just winds up causing himself innumerable injuries.
Yeah,
and
he
attempts
basically
to
feels like
awaken
he has
Ultra
to
Instinct.
activate it by hitting a cliff all the time. Like, he chucks him, he becomes a lemming, essentially. So, that will be... Alright, Viper.
Wait, so let me get this straight. You want me to throw you at that cliff? Well, actually, it's more of a pretzel!
Yeah, they're pretty much. Alright, Viper.
Yeah.
What if Goku was in the food world of Toriko? Goku would probably get really happy from excitement of all the delicious food like the 1,000-year-aged gator steaks. Yeah, I mean, pretty much you'd be right there. Goku would be really, really happy, and he'd be best mates with Toriko because he'd know where to get the good food. Like, yeah, they'd be buddies, and Toriko would actually still be relevant. Moving on. Guardian Tree. What if Baba warned them about Boo 1 year in advance? Well, I think first of all, they try and like, they try to find some way of locating the sealed ball for that one. Because I think that's the kind of thing you couldn't just like wait to fight and stuff like that. And with Goku not there, to go, nah, let him come out, I want a good fight. Goku wouldn't be there to stop them. So basically, Gohan and everybody would lead a charge to try and find the sealed ball before Babidi does. And then just like try and like either chuck it out into space, or summon Shenron saying like, hey, it's like, hey Shenron, there's like this thing that's like in the ground or something called the sealed ball with Majin Buu. Do you think he could just teleport it to another planet? It is done. And then Babidi just goes like, where's the ball? The ball's supposed to be here. It's like, and then he just like gets really angry.
I teleported it to remote planet. It should be safe. It's a planetoid, actually. It's called Vampa. Nothing lives there.
Nothing.
I sent it to fake Namek. But there is no fake Namek.
Exactly.
Yes, moving on.
Yes, there is no fake Namek. Moving on. Papa Podo. Jiren's reaction to Good Boy 21. Screaming in Linkara's Superboy Prime voice. No! Oh, it's like, oh yeah, it's like, no! You ruined everything! I'll kill you! I'll kill you to death! I remember that review.
I am a man! Punches the reality!
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
So I can use that opportunity to explain. Like, some of you guys thought that 21 with activating of the demonic power is stronger than Jiren. We never said a thing like that. But what we did say is that Jiren has his flashback to space Vietnam right now, so he might be more erratic. And he's facing his childhood trauma right now.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah,
he's
do
still
that
very
if you can.
powerful.
Yep, that's right. Absolutely.
But
All right.
yeah.
Manifesto. What if everyone stood up to Chi-Chi in the past? Tell her, hey, the Earth is doomed unless we do something. Hello, why don't you understand that? Well, they did sort of do that, like, during the Cell games. Like, you know, Chi-Chi did not want, like, Gohan to train, and they had to basically go, Chi-Chi, there is this kind of thing that you have to do. Yeah, Gohan is kind of needed. And that, it took, like, loads of them to do it. Even Vegeta, to, like, get him to, like, to actually, I still love the whole thing in episode 11, with, like, Gohan just going, shit, thanks! I'll be going to Namek now. You best.
You best.
Yeah.
Well, and it's perfect because the thing is like nobody ever really like addresses the real point. Like they do say stuff like, but we need him to help defend Earth. You know, we need somebody who's strong enough to fight the threat. Blah blah blah. But like nobody ever outright like sits Chi-Chi down and says, Chi-Chi, we know you want your son to have an education. We know you want him to grow up with a good job, and we know that you want him to be safe and be successful. Here's the problem. If there's no planet Earth, then there is no way in which he can have a good job, a good education, and a successful career. So get over yourself and let him train.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the big problem with Chi-Chi is that she's like a character from another viewpoint than everyone else in Dragon World, which is kind of like it's someone from our point of view taken into the world of Dragon Ball, who doesn't appear to realize, you know, all the magical mambo jumbo happening around here.
No, definitely. All right, Brother Malachi in with the $50 super chat. Still want to see this, and I know others do too from the likes I got from an old comment. What if Imperfect Cell arrived earlier in the future Trunks timeline and aided him and Gohan against the androids? And that's aided in air quotes there. Don't let your dreams be memes. Okay,
oh my
so
gosh.
basically, if early in the future Trunks timeline, Imperfect, it's sort of what I do in the Frieza Turn Good timeline. Basically, Cell changes tack and goes like, wait, my android siblings, I am here to help. So basically, like, yes, Trunks, I sense that you are. I believe that my siblings have gone rogue. I have just the thing in order to be able to do it. I can absorb them into my body, and they will be no more threat to you. Okay, all right, I'll help. He absorbs them and says, wait, you said you wouldn't be a threat. Yes, I said I wouldn't be a threat to them. To you, though. Bye. It's like, and it's
sucker.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because think about it. Imperfect Cell is basically a base insect with survival instincts. They will do anything to survive. Use crafty, cunning tactics to be able to, which benefits their long-lasting life. So, very much something they would genuinely consider doing. So I think it was something to be very, very true. And by the way, guys, we got 5 minutes left on the cutoff, by the way. So if you want to get a super chat in, you've got 5 minutes to do so. It's just sad I haven't got Red Dragon to help us keep a tab. But yeah, you got 5 minutes, people. Okay. Manifesto. Joke what if? Joke what if? What if Krillin's ex-girlfriend suddenly returned? Oh, man.
Oh, gosh.
Maron. Oh, if Maron and 18... Well, you saw the way that basically, 17 got in trouble with 18 about the way you spell Maron.
Yeah, the way that Maron's pronounced is very subtly different, and so you gotta make
one of the best jokes in Super. Like, Super has many issues, but that was one of the best jokes in Super.
No, absolutely.
Hands down.
That was a very good reference there. So basically, I feel like if she returned, I feel like 18... 18 would say, Krillin, do you mind if I have a chat with your friend? Oh, 18, are you gonna kill her? It's like,
no.
Not right this second.
Maybe, no.
And then basically, no.
I'm just gonna establish some clear boundaries.
Oh, no, basically, you get 2 minutes later, Marin runs out of the door crying. It's like, honey, what did you do? I didn't kill her, I just killed her with words. They're much more effective.
See, I kind of just imagine because 18's so gruff and blunt more often than not, right? I just imagine her meeting Marin and just like grabbing a thing of like rebar and twisting it and being like, "Is the point made?"
That too.
At which point's like crystal clear.
That too. Malachi, thank you very much for the grats about the wedding. Oh, about my wedding last year. It's almost a year. Jeez. It's almost a year since the wedding. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paper anniversary. So have to just get her a pile of paper. Apparently that's what you get. That's what you give for first year anniversaries, I think.
Really?
But this in the
Is
UK.
that a thing?
In the UK though. Alright, okay.
Oh.
APC. What if Miguel never died? How would this affect Videl and Hercule's character? Well, I feel like the group would actually be a bit more harmonious, and I feel like Videl would be a bit more like mellow, almost like chill, because there's a maternal maternal instinct. Because apparently Miguel died in childbirth, so Videl never really knew a mother, or not at all. So I feel like if she did, she might be a bit more placid, like as in a bit calmer. But obviously still the daughter of Hercule. So I feel like there would still be that toughness, but I feel like she would be less cantankerous, if you know what I mean?
And I think that, Hercule himself, like, she would take him off of the whole Satan dojo, thing. And... Sorry, Satan dojo, sorry. And like, help him to transition into a proper martial artist without the whole
Yes.
my stomach.
Yeah, because basically the Satan Castle Dojo, their gimmick is making excuses.
I can also kind of see, like in a situation where like when she's alive, right? If she were to see something like the movie that was produced that we see at the beginning of the Boo saga that paints Hercule as the big hero and stuff, I could imagine her doing one of those like anime wife moments where she just like pinches her husband's hand really hard, just as like a punishment to be like, why did you do this? Why are you taking credit for something that's not yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Podo. Remember my what if from about a year ago regarding wormholes between universes 6 and 7, where you said Frieza and Frost would monopolize them and stuff? Oh yeah, they totally would. That is definitely so. Basically, and it continues. If there were wormholes between universes 6 and 7, what would the relationship between both versions of Saiyans be? Also, what if Kakarot was sent to 6? Okay, so basically, I do definitely remember that, and Frieza and Frost would definitely monopolize it, because basically, instant travel to a different universe where you can see the opposite of what might have happened to your world. It's a what if wormhole. And then going on to, if the Sadala and if there were wormholes, but solid Sadala and Planet Vegeta, I feel like there would be a trade link there, but at the same time, I think King Cole would get a hold of it, and then basically the Sadala there in Universe 6 would have gotten swallowed up in the Cold Empire.
Like if wormholes were a thing that the Cold Empire / Frieza Empire had access to, like expansion, right? Expansion via conquest would be like the first goal on either leader's mind, whether it was Cold or Frieza in charge. They'd be like, this is a new universe that I can explore and conquer. I'm absolutely going to do the thing.
We would have a universal war with, both sides. Like, it would actually, give, Cold or Frieza or whoever to give, these other guys are not us. We can fight them, like both universe, like, could quote unquote be united by someone, some clever evil, like, like the Frieza clan against each other and just struck into cross-universe war.
Oh, totally. I definitely could see that. And by the way, everybody, now the super chat things have now closed. Thank you so much for all of your contributions. We are now basically all done. So we've got a lot to go through. So just so you know, we are done. If you do give a super chat, we may have time for it later on, or if it's just out of the goodness of your soul. Thank you. Yeah. All right, Rocket Prime.
As for the second part of the question with Goku, I feel that Goku would become a more happy-go-lucky version of Kakarot in that scenario.
Yeah, pretty much. He'd just be a bit more benevolent.
Relaxed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Rocket Prime. What if Mr. Satan only twisted the truth? That cell was such a phony. I'll let my youngest student deal with him. So basically, like, you know, Cell would basically just call Hercule would just call Cell like a trickster, and basically not even worth my time. So I basically sent that kid over there to do it for me. So if Cell actually got to fight me, I'd have gotten the fight done in about 10 seconds. And 7 of those seconds is me wiping the blood off of my jacket. So,
but I need to give some training to future generations so they know how to defend themselves.
I mean, I can't take all the glory here. I gotta give it to the youth, because the children, they're the future.
It's like, such inspiring words, Mr. Satan. It's like, you know that's how he would spin it. He's a spin doctor. Like,
oh gosh, I could see it happening. That's pretty much exactly it.
oh yeah,
you know,
Caleb, he just
he'd
upped the
want-
ante. Oh, okay, right, okay. Next one is Manifesto. Again, what if 7-3 got a Stitch type of origin story and redemption turned good for his character after the moral arc, maybe? A loving father for 7-3 added in? Ah yes, his father, 3-7. So basically, what's the opposite, the half of 7-3? So like 36. 36.5. But now basically, I feel like there will be I think 7-3 will basically get a chance. If they're brought back in some way, I feel like you could easily do something about like, oh my god, I was tricked by Moro. Moro basically did not value my strength at all. He used me.
I would love, to see that whole thing that 7-3 kind of looks similar to Hit addressed. If he's like, modified version of their people or someone's attempt to, to make a hit.
Yeah. So
could also just be a case of Toriyama same face or Toyotaro same face.
Yeah.
Again.
I am very alone. That's why I'm saying I would like it to be. It's different when it's referred as such and make in a conscious way, in any way.
Yeah, when it's explained in universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you there. Okay. APC. What if Piccolo accidentally drank seltzer water? Does he become a drunken fistmaster like Rock Lee? And also, what if Piccolo fought more like Luffy? Like, having like a more lucid style with actually using stretchy arms to pretty much every attack. That'd be pretty neat. It'd be certainly different. It'd be funny if it was
drunken fist with stretchy arms.
Oh man, noodle arms. So basically, Piccolo gets drunk on soda water.
But when I think about it, like he consumes only water. He's just like how devastating effects would alcohol have on Namekian organism? Jeez.
I imagine that. I imagine that it wouldn't be a pretty sight to see what actual alcohol would do to a Namekian, considering. But then again, we see that his body is capable of consuming a variety of different things because he can. He just doesn't have to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's just like he can get enjoyment out of it, but it's like I don't really have to. Yeah. So it's like I'll just do it to be nice. Right.
He does it because he cares for his grandchild, Pan.
Exactly. All right, Podo. Oh no, that wasn't continuing that. Okay, APC again. What if Kami's father survived the cataclysm on Namek and went to go look for him? Well, he'd have to then find Katas or Kamikolo on the scene. It's like, and he'd be really old, like at least a few hundred years older. So he'd be a very elderly Namekian, and then just sees his strapping young boy Kamikolo. But we certainly get a lot of like backstory about elder Namekians.
Yeah.
So I think we pretty much would get that really. We just find out a bit more of the origins of them, before the cataclysm. Manifesto. I love the new intro music. Oh, thank you very much. Again, that's the upcoming release of a new single coming out. And what if 7-3 got his copy ability back after the separation? Origin was that he was a weapon of war by a loving scientist's father. Oh, so basically just a super fighting robot Mega Man. Super fighting robot
Mega Man! But what you're saying was that he was created by a brilliant scientist!
Well, basically, if he did get his copy ability back, I imagine he probably much like he would either try not to use it, like rely on his own power, he would only use it as a last resort. Like he probably would get this some kind of honor code or something. Like say,
I would actually like it more if he didn't get this power back. Honestly, if he had to, if he had to teach himself, you know, like if he was that tabula rasa type of character after that, you know, and somebody had to, you know, teach him how to fight her again.
Yeah, okay. No, I can see that. As in, like, yeah, he basically would have to like change his fighting style to the fact that he wouldn't have to resort to his gimmick. Okay, I see that. Okay, Mean Crank. If power scaling of the baddies was adjusted, how would you switch the major arcs of DBZ? Saiyan, Frieza, Androids, Boo. Okay, so if it was all scaled up, I mean, to be honest, the Androids saga would be the best one to end it. Saiyan's still a good first one, because it's actually quite uncomplicated. I pretty much would only swap Boo and... I'd swap Androids and Boo around. So I feel like the Androids one would be like a really good way of like bringing it back down to Earth. Like you have this universal power, and then you bring it back down to Earth, and something the culmination of every single fighter that they've ever fought into this one being. So I feel like it'd be almost like showing how far our heroes have come. In that
and
sense.
callbacks to original Dragon Ball with.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just swapped those two around. All right, the Batosai. April Fool. What if? What if the Pilaf gang turned good prior to Super? Well, they have sort of turned good through necessity, as in they've realized being bad guys does not pay well. So they basically have just joined the good guys because they can make a living. So basically, like
yeah, I feel like they
Flintstone
learned that
animals-
lesson early on.
Yeah, like all those Flintstone animals, you get Pilaf going, it's a living. It's just like they have to kind of just go like, it's just the way it is. If you want to be relevant in Dragon Ball, you got to be a good guy. So they kind of have turned good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and that's the thing is they ultimately managed to get at least one wish on the Dragon Balls because they wound up with their youth, if not control, domination of the world.
Yeah.
And obviously that causes problems in certain timelines that no longer exist. But but ultimately I think that like their whole aspect of like we will be villains to acquire the Dragon Balls is pretty much done because even in say Battle of Gods, right? When they're trying to acquire the Dragon Balls from Capsule Corp or that sort of thing. It's all become more or less just childish shenanigans.
Yeah.
More so than any legitimate threat.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Okay. Let's see. Podo. Also, what would Universe 6 Sadala's reaction to Universe 7's Vegeta's destruction be when the Frieza blows it up?
Oh no!
It would be like they would be a bit scared, and they would be like then mounting all their kind of like upping the ante to everything. So basically, it's sort of like it'd be just like they'd be just upping their defenses in some way. But I imagine they would also have some kind of like teleportation link to Vegeta in some way.
Oh, I can tell you what they would do. They will like gather all the money they have on their planet, and they will pay a hit on Frieza.
Oh yeah, of course, because hit does exist. He would exist in that time.
And he would be stronger than Frieza at this time.
Oh, of course, definitely, without a doubt. Alright, 28 latest data 559. What if the original DBZ Broly landed on Earth and hit his head instead of Goku? Well, basically, if he did hit his head, he would have amnesia. But you'd still have you'd have a good boy Broly, but you'd have a Broly with rage boosts like Gohan. And those rage boosts would be ridiculously big.
If we were to try and fudge this a little bit, because I know that people are very used to us basically saying the moment he has a rage problem, the Earth is pretty much done for because of his high power. If we fudge it a bit and we say, okay, let's not play the sound on this one for right now. How do we see this playing out? Well, now we know that Broly. We have the understanding now that Broly is of an age with Vegeta. Now, if we're going OG Broly, if we're going OG DBZ movie 8 Broly and he's Goku's age, then you wind up with a similar relationship between him and Bulma, because if he lands on Earth, he hits his head, and when we experience the same thing that happened with Goku, right? Yeah. Then you take two things into account. One, he'll be found and raised and trained by Grandpa Gohan, which will obviously help to temper his mind, But also, two, Broly's personality is still at its core very different from Goku, right? Because Broly has always been this very, very soft boy. He's always been this kind of meek, almost even more so than even Gohan, who's always been very soft. So I feel like you wind up with a character who's actually stronger than Goku, but in a much more I don't want to fight, I don't want to do these things sort of mentality, because he's this very, very meek, very soft boy. And I think that would lead him to be a little bit more easily manipulated by somebody like Bulma. But I also think that it would also give him a more intense appreciation for his first group of friends, Bulma and Yamcha and all those early characters. There are fun things you can do, but the problem with Broly is always going to be his power potential being so high in that early era that it's going to cause problems, either for the timeline or for the Earth in general.
Yeah. You need to have some sort of Deus Ex Machina character explaining to Gohan. Yeah, you don't want to let him out during full moon.
Yeah, there you go. Alright, APC. What if Gine had a rage boost like Gohan or Broly? There's only so much she can take before she snaps. For added comedic effect, she gets a split personality like Launch. Well, I imagine she could probably go she just loses all her senses, but I wouldn't want to have comedic effect with that. I feel like that would just be oh, so that's where Gohan's rage boosts come from. That'd be a really interesting twist. You think, oh, it's Bardock or something like that, or oh, it's Chi-Chi. No, it's Gine. As in
I wanted that to be the case. There was a lot of people back in the day before Gine was canonized that was they were hoping that Goku's mean streak, the wildness that he had before he hit his head, was actually representative of his mother's half of his parentage, and they wanted his mom to be this mean fighting delinquent, almost like Caulifla type character.
Yeah, but at the same time, everyone goes, as soon as they see Gine, okay. They're just okay, she's cute, moving on. They just fully accept it, because we can't be mad at her. Yeah, so, of course.
She's just too adorbs.
She's totes dorbs, pretty much.
Totes adorbs.
Alright, Mean Crank. What if everyone landed on fake Namek, and the aliens residing there had to support a facade in the Three Stooges Charlie Chaplin sort of fashion? Oh man, I can imagine their heads exploding, because they have to keep this facade up for basically the entire Ginyu Force, Frieza, all of this stuff. Somebody's gonna figure this out, and they basically then they flee the planet and then just kind of they blow it up, because they basically created this planet or something like that. They just find a ways to escape, and then just
it's time for us to leave and leave your home to your eternal doom.
Then basically, they find a way to escape. They get to Frieza's ship, they escape, and they basically leave everyone to then figure out this is all a facade, and then basically they can't escape that either.
And Frieza just finds them and blasts them.
Yeah. It's oh, you think you're safe? All that stuff.
I can breathe in space,
Huh? But space is a vacuum!
Crab basket. Oh, you say that too.
Say that too. You say that too. Alright, okay. Pavaracha. What if instead of fusing Kami was wished younger and trained with Piccolo in the hypersonic lion tamer? That'd be a very interesting kind of thing, but I feel like it'd be a bit redundant, because I feel like Kami's potential as a fighter on his own is not really up there. It's basically the synergy with Piccolo that gives Piccolo its strength.
I mean, we kind of did that in What If Not, but
yeah, we have tried. We have played with this idea on quite a few occasions. So we
Young
do...
Kami isn't a bad thought, you know. It's just that when he fuses with Piccolo, the power potential is compounded, right?
Yes.
So even if you think, well, having two fighters is better than having just one fighter, it's not entirely true, because their power potential is so much lower as individuals, because when they fuse, they're made up of much more than just the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
Also, Kami still has some of his restraints that the being a guardian makes him.
Mm.
I actually have a working theory why, so maybe we'll make that into a discussion.
Yeah, maybe
But
we'll...
why Kami has those restraints and then they has not, other than, you know, Toriyama forgot.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Now Podparacha added a little point here, saying training before fusing. So they spent a year in the hypersonic lion
okay.
tamer,
So...
and then they fuse.
Oh, well, then that means the multiplier would be even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be enough that like
Piccolo would kill
yeah.
Cell.
Yeah, Kamikolo would be able to deal with both Cell and the androids fairly handily at that point, so you'd wind up with no Cell Saga arc, pretty much.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's Kamikolo Saga now.
Yeah.
Which means bad things come the Buu Saga, because we won't have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, we won't have a lot of different things.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Paparazzi's in it again with, what if Babidi had Buu absorb a sleeping Beerus instead of the Kaioshin? Oh, so basically, if it was a sleeping Beerus, I'm playing the sound. We haven't played the sound so far today. Yeah.
I have one question. It's hilarious, but I have one question. How would he go past Whis?
Oh yeah. I mean, they aren't getting past Whis.
This is for the sake of the argument. So basically, if they found a way that they knew that Whis' weakness was a sweet tooth, and basically convinced Whis to go ahead and do a taste test for, like, some kind of situation, and Whis falls for it, and it gives them just enough time to get to Beerus' place, catch him while he was asleep, and then basically you have Majin Buu and that. Basically, at the same time, Whis would still be able to beat him. Like, it would be like an interesting little interlude. And yeah, no, Whis would just like boop him out of existence.
Yeah, he was just... Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is, I get that the idea here is, you know, you capture Beerus while he's asleep, so he has no opportunity to fight back, right? But the thing is we don't necessarily know if he can, you know, being a god of destruction, right? We don't necessarily know how that magic, when it comes to being absorbed into Buu's body, is going to affect him, if at all. So you'd probably wind up with a sort of indigestion situation like you got with Vegeta, because you wind up with Beerus being absorbed, but not actually like fully integrated, and then he wakes up and is like, what in the heck's going on? Hakai. And then just destroys Buu from the inside out.
Yeah. And then, oh, good Babidi, or Bibidi, or is it Babidi now?
Or no, basically, no, he said, you know what? I could have actually got out of this body many hours ago. I just decided this would be a bit more interesting. Like, you know, Whis goes, you know, Lord Beerus, I thought that you would have been able to destroy him instantly. Yes, I know. I just let him control me for a while just for fun. He's like, oh no, I gave him false hope. So basically, just screwing around with Buu. Anyway.
The true joy of destruction is taking it away when people are at their absolute peak.
Surely you would have figured that out by now, Whis. It's very much my style. Anyway. Alright, Manifesto. What if those who eat the fruit of the Tree of Might were a permanent increase for every fruit eaten for each time they travel to each planet? Cool. I feel like that might... You know what? I feel like that might have been the case. Like, Turles had been eating the Tree of Might on various planets to various degrees of success. But all the other planets that he had been on had either been ones with very low prosperity, or they weren't that big or anything like that. But Earth was the motherlode. So basically... Turles gained all of this power up until now through eating the Tree of Might on various other planets. But Earth is the big one. So Earth is, like, renowned for being, like, quite, full of life. It may not be the strongest planet, but it's really, really prosperous in terms of life. So, in terms of life essence, the Tree of Might there would be incredible. So I feel like this is, like, the peak. Like, the biggest Tree of Might.
And if you consider that there's a distinct chance, right? Like if you think about how like the Frieza saga is and stuff like that, and if you consider that like Turles and his whole crew are probably existing in space, attempting to avoid being confronted by the Frieza Force, right? They don't want to be confronted by the Frieza Force because before they get to Earth, none of them has the power potential to go up against people like Dodoria, Zarbon, the Ginyu Force, or especially Frieza or King Cold. So they've probably been sticking to planets that have been unappealing and more or less unoccupied. So they can only drain small amounts of life force from the planet, leaving it more or less just a dead rock. But they do still get some little by little. So when they find a backwater planet that's actually got like a healthy population, it's lush, it's green, it's got lots of water, tons of flora and fauna, all this other stuff, and it's got these strong fighters on it. They're like this. Yeah, it's like you say, this is the mother lode. It's going to be the biggest Tree of Might yet. The fruit it makes is going to be phenomenal. And Turles was probably salivating at the very thought of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that'd be a very compelling case. All right, League of Thoughts. What if Kami made a son to take over as the next Guardian of the Earth? And if King Piccolo still was born in the same universe? Well, in terms of, like, making a son to take over, I mean, if Kami did that, I feel like that would only be a case if he decided to do that, because if he never had thought about fusing with Piccolo, basically, if he never thought of fusing with Piccolo, he would have made a son to, like, take over in his stead. So, probably. To try and make sure that there's some connection to Piccolo still remaining and the Dragon Balls. But,
well, if we consider the fact that he can still fuse with Piccolo, even though Piccolo is technically Ma Jr. and not Daimao himself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd still have that option in the long run, right? That the two sons of the being that was the nameless Namekian or whatever, still can become one again. It's just, I think the dynamic would work a little differently, because if you have Kami creating a son, that doesn't necessarily mean that said son is going to immediately inherit guardianship of Earth. It's not a matter of primogeniture here. It's not something you're handing down to your son as if it's a monarchical position. It's something that you have to earn, right? So if Kami makes a son, it's because he feels like he must already have like a fitting replacement in mind. So in a universe where, say, which is the universe where Kami trained Tien? Is that the one where what if Goku won against Roshi?
Yeah.
Or whatever, and Tien winds up trained by Kami?
Yeah.
And he's kind of like in the running to be new Guardian of Earth, right? In that sort of scenario, where Kami has somebody who would actually be a good fit for Guardian of Earth in the interim, and he's like, I'm old, but I do want to still try to continue on in a way that will support and protect the Earth, then I can see him like making a son, because he would have the opportunity to grow and learn on Earth, etc. And he could then, further learn from Tien, much as Tien learned from Kami.
Okay. But again, I feel like it's definitely like he would try and have some opportunity to try and keep that connection still going. Okay. John Cordua. What if Future Trunks had put the androids in line, kind of like how Goku and Piccolo were during the beginning of Z? So basically, if Future Trunks in some way decided to keep them around, to instead of killing them, basically use them to try and help rebuild the world, like, it would. I think it would only work for a certain amount of time. 17 would then get like, you know, get bored, try and do it again, but then he would be destroyed. And I think 18 at that point would be like, you know what, I kind of don't want this anymore. I kind of want to stay to live. And, you know, because she would just say, oh, 17's an idiot. And she's always said that her brother was an idiot. So basically it would be just like, okay, fine, whatever, just leave me alone. Like, you know, if you don't kill me, I'll just go away. You won't have to see me again. Basically, just almost like, okay, fine. But a reluctant thing. You just never would see 18 again. She would never help Trunks, but at the same time, she wouldn't cause any more trouble. And I feel like Trunks would then believe that because, you know, she's seen proof that he will kill them. So I feel like that'd be the most likely scenario to make it work, to have them be in line and still be alive in some way. All right, APC. What if Kami was able to access God Ki and became a super Namekian god due to being a god of Earth? Well, it would be certainly very overpowered, and it would certainly involve King Kai asking many, many questions. Like, you know, basically, how did you get this power? And, you know, basically, Kami would not put up with King Yema's sass whatsoever.
Yep.
I think in that kind of scenario, you'd have to create a balancing factor, right? You'd have to go for a more Taoist approach wherein you have, instead of calling it God Ki, call it something like Heavenly Ki, right? In the same way that you have Kai and Makai, you would need to have Ki and Ma Ki. You know, you'd have to have a dark counterpart to this light in order to balance the scales, because and that's something that I'm kind of wondering if they're going to introduce something similar to that in Dragon Ball Super at some point, because God Ki has been a huge like catch-all for just like, this is a special kind of ki that makes you super strong, and it's like, well, I mean, if you're gonna create a pantheon, right? If you're gonna create a scenario where you've got these angels and gods and devils and stuff like that, right? That have these powers, then I feel like you have to have that balance. And bringing back something like that would be interesting, because I mean, I think a lot of people were ultimately disappointed by like a character like Deborah being introduced in the Buu arc as this kind of counterpart to the Kais, and then ultimately not going anywhere, which is why you see a lot more of the Makai in stuff like Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Online. You see them doing a lot more, right?
Yep.
If they were to take that concept and run with it, and even if they had to finagle it again, because now the Kai are not at the top of the pantheon of godhood, you know, if they were to take it and run with it and say, yes, just as Zeno exists, there is say like a darker counterpart, or since Zeno himself is balanced, you know, destruction and creation in equal measure, then what you could say is, well, his angels and servants and stuff like that are representative of the light, whereas gods of destruction are the darkness. But you'd have to finagle it. But I feel you need to achieve that balance in some way, because right now the people who are using God Ki are almost all good guys in some way.
The dark side of the key is a pathway to many abilities, some considered to be unnatural.
Heartless Fang. What if the three of you directed and did the writing for an arc of Super? Would you rewrite an arc or make a new one? What would you focus on?
I think making a new arc would be better, because it would give us more freedom.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But to keep it simple, I would just say the Goku Black arc, tweak it a little bit, just in the sense of like, you know, remove like at least one trip back to the future, just make it twice. And basically have Trunks take the win. And then add the flashback of like, when I was training with the Supreme Kai, I met Goku in that real life, and he taught me the Genki Dharma. I was never able to understand it, but I guess in the heat of the moment, it just came to me without even knowing it.
Also improve writing on Zamasu's quote-unquote sympathetic part.
Yeah, I think if there was any arc that needs a rewrite, it's probably the Goku Black arc. I mean, the Tournament of Power arc could be used with rewrite as well, but I mean, by comparison, there is no comparison. The Goku Black arc, it had a strong start, really poor development and finish. So if there was going to be an arc that I would want to like rewrite, it would be Goku Black arc. If there was an arc that I would want to actually do wholesale, a new arc, what I would want to focus on is the kids. And what's more than that is I would want to give there an opportunity for some time to pass so that we could get them back on track as far as their age and development and everything else like that goes. See where they are in their lives at the moment, you know. Is Trunks attending school, or is he homeschooled because his mother's a super genius? Is Goten attending school yet, or is he still being homeschooled like Gohan was? Are they training regularly? Is Marin included? You know, what are they doing? How are 17's kids from his marriage, you know, and stuff like that. Examine that stuff so that you can set a foundation, set the groundwork for stories involving them in the future, that aren't rehashing old ground as old as the Boo saga. Because I mean, the stuff that we do get with them, it's stuff that should have happened when they were 7 and 8, and they're supposed to be like 12 and 13 by this point. They're supposed to be as old as Trunks was in the History of Trunks arc when he's getting trained by Gohan. So it's like, you know, let the kids age up and give them something to do so that we could get some focus on people other than Goku and Vegeta. God.
Well, simple as. All right. Okay. Okay, next one is, what if Super Saiyan Rage was actually explained? My best explanation I could get was like, this was like the link between, I think this was actually one of my first discussion videos ever. And it was basically, my theory was that this was like the bridging link between Super Saiyan and Blue. Like, it was like Trunks getting into that period of actually absorbing God Ki from meeting Vegeta, who had Super Saiyan Blue, or something like that. But no, it turns out this is just like Super Saiyan 2.5, pretty much.
But what if we got Super Saiyan Reg instead of Super Saiyan Rage?
Oh, that Rasta Saiyan, pretty much. Okay, APC 218. What if Grandpa Gohan survived Goku's Zaru form? So basically, instead of getting completely squished, he was just injured. Then basically they would have to come up with this cover story, and then like Gohan would have to explain that, oh, I got attacked by some bandits or something. I'll be fine, Gohan. Go and stay with Master Roshi for a few days. Like, and I feel like that. I feel like Goku would get like this initial like study about discipline and stuff, and I feel like Roshi would take care of him for a few days, and then just like think, you know, well, that'll be last time I see that kid. And then Gohan, like, dies of old age. And they say, well, looks like I was wrong. So, like, you get an early introduction to Master Roshi, I think. And, like, a little...
Yeah, maybe an early introduction to Master Roshi. Maybe maybe some more meaningful interaction between, say, like... I mean, if the implication here is that Gohan survived the Ozaru form long enough that like he could meet Bulma when Bulma shows up looking for the 4-star ball, or like be exposed to Goku's blossoming friendships and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I feel like Gohan might take steps to try and be like, oh, I think I might have failed a bit in your education because we both, you know, we live like hermits out in the middle of Mount Paozu. Maybe I should teach you a little bit about social cues and how to interact with other people, even and especially girls, because Goku does not interact very well with Bulma in the early episodes of Dragon Ball.
Certainly not. All right, Will Brown's next. What if the rest of the Z Saiyans went through the God ritual right after Beerus arrived? Oh, so basically that means everyone in the group got Super Saiyan God. Well, the stakes would be very, very low. And I imagine they probably did that with Vegeta. So they just thought, oh, Goku, Vegeta. And they probably then thought, oh, it may not work with half Saiyans. Or something like that. Yeah, they thought, oh, it's just pure Saiyans. Or something like that. But if they all got it, then we would have Super Saiyan God Pan from birth. Like, we just, in that episode with, like, the giant mech and then Pan in space, you just get red-haired Pan as Super Saiyan God as a baby. Like, just for kicks, because why not? It's funny.
Yep.
Paparazzi. This was referring to Nerd King's Master Trilogy's 3-part finale of Series 3, where the Master becomes the Prime Minister. Oh, okay. Yeah, I messaged Nerd King just now, and just explained the situation. So yeah, sorry about that. I just got completely bemuzzled, but yeah, again, it's been a long week for the three of us, so we got things a bit bamboozled. Let's just say. Okay, Podo. Last one. Since I was going to reboot my Goku Dreamer What If, I have a joke. Regular Goku. Who are you? I am you, but with more personality and emotional trauma. Oh, yes, of course. I do like to add emotional trauma to my scripts. There's a lot of it.
Oh, gosh.
And seriously, you will know what I mean with Frieza Turned Good Part 11. Like, yeah. That's all I'm going to say. You will see the fruits of my labor in about 2 weeks. And... you will definitely the feels will be with that, and I think that will be probably the penultimate part of that What If. We'll have 12 parts for it. I definitely think.
I could see that.
Yeah, I mean part 12 of that What If, and I definitely want to do side stories of that still. I want to keep that universe going in some way, just not in a traditional What If.
Yeah, we are finishing a lot of stories, but we have some new ones incoming as well.
we want to finish up some in the future, but we just want to replace them with some new ones. Okay. Heartless Fang. What if Cell got bored of waiting during the 7-day wait before the Cell games and instead just left the planet? I feel like he would leave the planet. He'd probably just go, I'm going to have my best day ever. And he would just go flying around the galaxy, entertaining himself. And then I can imagine, like, months later, he's go like,
oh, dang, Earth, I forgot about that!
he's just go like,
sorry everyone, sorry I'm late. Let's do a do-over. Are we still doing the Cell games? Good. The stadium's still here.
And then everyone's, like, trained up, and then basically,
oh, I probably should have trained as well.
and then basically,
this is not going to end well for Cell Boy.
Yeah.
Like, he goes off and enjoys himself, but then he remembers, comes back, he gets trounced by Gohan.
For some reason, I imagine him in Hawaiian shirt and that goofy hat that Gine had
a foam
in
hand,
Return of the Far.
foam
Oh
finger.
god, the stereotypical tourist look. See, what's hilarious about that is like that that's like the epitome of that of that meme of like, I'm a genius. Oh no. It's like, I'm bored just standing here. I'll go and have fun out in space for a while. Gets distracted, comes back. Everybody's too strong for him to beat.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. Manifesto. What if Tree of Might was made canon? How would you want it to be done right? Different looking Turles, and I have a theory too shortly. Okay.
I actually have a video about this.
Yeah, we did do a video about this. What was it? What was it called again?
What if we rebooted Turles, I think.
Oh, yeah, we did do that. So, yeah, go and look for that.
It's one of your older what ifs, isn't it?
It's probably one of our older ones, yeah.
It's not even a what if, but a
check
discussion.
it. Search for Turles on the channel, and you'll definitely get your answer there, Manifesto. Paparazzi, what if Trojan finds the big Getter? Oh, man. If Trojan found the big Getter, you know that basically he would certainly do it. He would then say, oh, I would most likely to become absolutely infinite. You would call me the infinite Trojan. And then, like, you could have me spread across the galaxy with various different clones of myself. It will be magnificent. There's no escape from I.
So he's a
tell I like doing
self-replicating
that voice?
virus.
It's like, you can call me Viral. Trojan's gone viral. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Alright, God of Legos. Since other universes don't seem to have Compass Supreme Kais, what if Shin and the other Kais were originally one that split apart similar to Kami? So basically...
Sorry, just wanted to say they do have compass guys because Zamasu was like.
Yeah, he was the North Kai.
Really... Yeah.
Yeah, he was the North Supreme Kai. So basically, they do. It's just they either don't have names, or we don't really have much time to really go over them. Like, Fua is like the Grand Supreme Kai of Universe 6. They just call him the Supreme Kai, and Shin is the Grand Supreme Kai of Universe 7 because, you know, he's the only one left. So
he's like the equivalent, he's the Dragon Ball equivalent of being like the head of the Department of Agriculture, but everyone else in the line of succession for the presidency was assassinated. So he winds up being the president by sheer virtue of just happening to be in the line of succession.
Yeah, exactly. You just feel like he just gets the role, pretty much, yeah. Alright, APC 218. What if Dr. Giro was like Rick from Rick and Morty? Oh, we'd have Chaotic Evil right there.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, you know, it's like,
You know what, everyone? Basically, the people who are watching this series are absolute idiots, and they should be really feel idiotic for watching me, but they're gonna keep watching me anyway because they like the entertainment. And I have these killer androids that basically are ironic punishment. It's just a reflection of themselves. It's like,
19, listen, we are going, we have to go on an adventure, 19.
it's like
19 and 20, 100 years. 19and20.com.
That's so good. Oh my
it's like,
gosh.
I suddenly have an urge more. I have an urge 19 to eat some Pringles.
See, in this scenario though, if you're gonna have Dr. Giro / Android 20 be like Rick, you have to make 19 like Morty.
yeah.
Oh jeez, Dr. Giro.
Oh jeez, Dr. Giro, I don't really like this. Okay, alright. No Use says, what if the Saiyans were good, only working for Frieza because of the threat of extinction? Raditz goes to Earth to recruit Goku for the Resistance. Well, you see, this would be a sympathetic kind of storyline. Like, the Saiyans don't really realize how bad they are until Frieza comes along. And basically, I mean, when Raditz goes, yes, I know we were bad, but we're not that bad. So we want to do some good, despite the fact we're bad. Are you good with that? Nah, I'm sort of bad with it. Oh, come on, Kakarot. Don't be a bad guy. We fight a lot of those already. It's like,
We're already sort of neutral right now, Kakarot.
close enough. Basically, it just have to be like, you know, we're the weenies of our universe, not Frieza. Yeah. Now, Manifesto goes, this is filling up his theory. Definitely looking Turles what if. A tree of might fruit gave Gohan a form out of desperation to save everyone, called Life Breaker, and had life energy. And then Life Breaker is a massive boost and savage demeanor, but if not finishing enemy soon, could take life of user, aka Gohan, after eating the fruit. Okay, so basically, so your theory is that Turles would have this power from the Tree of Might already, and then Gohan eats the fruit of it, and then gains his Life Breaker form. Basically, it's really powerful, but if it's not used too soon, if it's like it goes on too long, it could kill the user. It's sort of like what we did for our rewrite of Super Saiyan 3. Like, basically, if you use it too long, it could basically destroy your sanity. And sort of like with Sparking Joy as well. Sparking Joy has that
and
too.
or even an extreme form of the Kaioken, essentially. The power potential multiplier is much higher, but like it comes at the cost of further destruction of your life force, your body, your mind, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I like that manifesto. That's a good theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The autistic goldfish. What if a change in Dragon Ball lore caused a role reversal where the Saiyans are the pacifists and the Namekians are the warriors? Well, you sort of get that in Dragon Ball Online in a way. where, like, you know, you get evil Namekians, and the Saiyan descendants are actually the good guys. Saiyan human hybrids. But basically, if there were a change in the law, then basically the Namekians would be these band of regenerative warriors, and the Saiyans are basically the pacifists of, like, aka Universe 6 Saiyans. So you just get the Universe 6 Saiyans versus evil Namekians. And they both exist in Dragon Ball lore in some way. So you would just transplant them into one story. There you go. APC. What if Cell was more like the TFS version of fused Piccolo? He can have a full-on conversation in his head with all of the cells that make up his DNA. So basically, he's talking to the Dragon team. And, you know, like Goku says something, we're gonna stop you, and then the Goku and Cell's mind, that's not what I would say, Cell. He's lying, and you know it.
Oh my god. No wonder Cell's insane if he has that many voices talking in his head.
I mean, that would explain how he knew about everything.
Which you see this a lot in Japanese fiction, especially is this kind of latching on to old sci-fi tropes, one of which is the concept of genetic memory. You see that a lot, and I feel like that's kind of where Toriyama was coming from when he was writing the Cell Saga arc, especially because we know how big of a sci-fi fan he was. Still is, like, probably, but so he was probably working off of the principle that all of the genetics that were stolen from these other people and put into Cell probably do have a genetic memory, a genetic imprint that comes with some portion of their personality and stuff like that. So if he was actually hearing those voices, I can only imagine the kind of mental strain he was under.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it would certainly explain a lot for his character. Okay, know you. What if Abridged Future Trunks and Future Z Trunks ended up in each other's universes when they travel to the past? Well, the thing is that Abridged Future Trunks and Future Z Trunks, they're basically the same person. Because in DBZA, we either over-exaggerate the character, or we... or at the same time, we don't have, or they don't change much at all. And Abridged Trunks is basically the same, only maybe
he's
a bit
just
more.
He's just more adorable.
Yeah, in a way, you could definitely say that. Okay, Paparacha. What if future Jiro survived and was horrified by what his androids did to humanity? Okay, I can see why. He would basically just say, "Oh yes, another failure." He wouldn't be sad or remorseful. He'd be horrified at the fact it failed. He would just then go, "Well, back to the drawing board." And then they say, "Well, don't you care about humanity?" "Well, that's their fault for not looking after themselves. They should have tried harder."
Yeah.
He would just, start cloning people, new human race from the vats.
Yeah, you'd probably wind up. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, especially considering we know that Dr. Gero has the means of collecting genetic material. That doesn't just come about because he's like, I need to invent a machine that can collect genetic material for me specifically so that I can use it to create Perfect Cell. No, that comes because he's already got something similar in mind. He probably has in that supercomputer, in some form of refrigeration or something in that base, or maybe even in a different base located somewhere else on the planet. He probably has tons of genetic data from all kinds of people across the Earth, kept in refrigeration for the specific purpose, of replenishing the Earth after a cataclysm if necessary, because he's one of those big thinker, mad scientist types, So he's probably got the whole thing of what's that movie? Titan AE? Is that the one where when they find it, it's got like this whole freaking storage of all of the animals and stuff like that were lost when Earth was destroyed.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you there. Okay. Margaret Evans. What if 17 and 18 didn't rebel? If they didn't rebel from Gero in that, I think we would have had them actually taking out the Z fighters, and we basically would have we'd have History of Trunks, basically, because they just did what they were told. And that's basically what happened, and you just get the fight would just happen a lot sooner than it did in the than it did in the future Trunks thing. Basically, that's pretty much it. Heartless Fang. What if Wicked, but Piccolo as Elphaba and Goku as Glinda? Oh man, pyrotechnics and Piccolo flying. You know, defying gravity, but it's Piccolo. It's like,
Goku, come with me. Think of what we could do together. Unlimited. Together we're unlimited.
It's like you'd have a box office smash with that one, and Ghost Snapper would be producing it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Manifesto. What if Turned Good Nappa, Good Raditz, and Goku marry Bulma what ifs were merged into one universe? Would they blend well, or too many constructions within? I feel like Goku and Good Raditz and Good Nappa could work together in some shape or form, because, you know... Oh, we had multiple crash Sophie right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that happened again. Whoops. Okay.
She'll be back.
She'll be back, but we'll round off this one first. But basically, Good Nappa and Good Raditz could work. Goku married Bulma, it's a bit too different to blend well. But definitely those first two could definitely work.
Yep.
Yeah. Margaret Evans, what if Time Patrol tried to stop Trunks the first trip? Ah, Sophie, you okay?
I don't know why that happens. It just does.
That is really weird. But yeah, don't worry.
It's
you haven't
so
missed
weird.
anything. We were just going to say, what if the Time Patrol stopped Trunks on his first trip? So basically, like, say for example, Trunks goes to Trunks gets the drop off the medicine to Goku, but basically on his trip back, he gets stopped by the Time Patrol. Well, that means basically you'd have no Trunks. You'd have no Trunks. You'd have no like Vegeta will probably be like killed by Cell. Basically, no, there'd be no one stopping Vegeta from letting Cell from transforming sooner. Basically, a lot less restraint, and
yeah, I think part of the reason why, like, if you're looking at it from a retroactive perspective, I think part of the reason the Time Patrol doesn't stop Trunks is because they actually know that in order for the timeline to be manageable, right? In order for the timeline to not be on like an apocalyptic bent, right? They have to allow this one bit of time travel. But nobody takes the time to inform any of the other gods about it. So that's why like Beerus and Whis are all upset over the fact that these Earthlings are time traveling and stuff like that. But it's like Cronoa probably had a plan in mind. It's like, yeah, she's looking at the timelines the whole time,
Yeah.
So she knows that this is how the time has to go if this is going to be manageable.
Yeah, and she is aware that what Trunks is doing is noble. So at least, it's laudable. So she lets him do it, but then later on, when it all keeps happening, then she comes in. All right, Kenshin 491. What if Hercule became an android so he could always win tournaments with the exchange of Hercule being programmed to kill Goku? Also, basically, if Jiro, Hercule is trying to win this tournament, and instead of the 17 and 18. You basically would then have, like, Hercule, this down-and-out fighter, Jiro finds, and he just becomes the greatest martial artist in the galaxy, or on the planet, and then is then programmed to kill Goku, so he comes to the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, and basically, fights Goku. So Piccolo Jr. is nowhere there. Basically, Piccolo Jr. is destroyed by Android Hercule. So...
and when you think about it, right, like, I could definitely see Dr. Gero finding out about Hercule in some fashion, right? Because we already know that over the course of the various, the timeline stuff like that, like Hercule's been going to these tournaments. He's got a lot of power for an ordinary human, right? Like we see him doing stuff that ordinary humans aren't able to accomplish unless they've trained in martial arts methods that utilize ki. So it's a huge deal that Hercule is as strong as he is without access to ki energy, which would actually make him a very appealing test subject as far as all that goes. So I could see Jiro maybe approaching him with like evidence or something, because he's got all those video drones and stuff like that. Approaching him with evidence of his of his wrongdoings, of his food poisonings, and all these other kinds of things that like paint him in a bad light, and being like, I will not expose you if you agree to be my test subject. And that's how he manipulates Hercule into being this test subject. And I think Hercule would actually be a pretty good subject.
Yeah, good point. Because, I mean, hey, if Jiro was able to do that with 2 teenagers with attitude.
Yeah, I mean, we have to assume that Lapis and Lazuli were ordinary humans, ordinary human teenagers at that. When they were ordinary humans, they probably couldn't go toe to toe with somebody like Hercule and come out on top. So if Jiro takes someone like Hercule with that power potential, that untapped power potential, who's that strong even without the ability to utilize ki, and then does the same things to him that he does to 17 and 18, I think we'd have like a different super android on our hands, essentially.
Yeah, no, I'd absolutely agree. Okay, next one is from Manifesto. Again, what if Goku trained Uub and Pan together? Oh, I think there was a what if that we did do that. There was a what if like ages ago that we did do that in the finale. But basically, if Uub and Pan train together, they basically get a lot out of each other. And Pan would get Super Saiyan, pretty much, to be matching in a good challenge. There we go, simple as. Vulcan, what if strong Hercule met Broly? In Goku defeated Roshi. It's one of these ones, so like 4 what ifs. Okay. We'll give you very clip answers to Vulcan. You do this quite a lot. So you're very cheeky with these 4 in one. Okay. If strong Hercule met Broly, they'd be both big bulking guys. They'd find solace in each other because they're big bulky guys. And I feel like Broly would still beat Hercule even in the Hercule train like Goku. But I think they would still relate to each other because of their bulky size. And then in Goku defeated Roshi, what if Suna was the secret mother of Gohan?
It's a little bit harder to do secret mothers than secret fathers because you still have to carry the child to term. If Goku married Chi-Chi but had a son with Suno, I think Chi-Chi would have a problem with that, guys.
It'd be a bit obvious.
And I don't think she would raise this child.
Right.
I don't know. Gohan could grow, very disdainful in that scenario and be very much like, Doofenshmirtz because none of his parents were around for his birth.
Yeah.
Son Gohan, played by Kit Harington.
And Videl will be like, nothing, son Gohan.
He's literally Gohan Snow. Because his mother is Snow.
Yeah.
Okay, then the next one is, what if Kami never defused from Piccolo? The Earth would be destroyed, and Garlic Senior would have been the leader, would have become the new Guardian, because that's been pretty much true. And then what if Goten had a twin sister? Well, Goten might have had a bit more chance to do some more training because Chi-Chi would have doted on the twin sister. There you go. All right, Janical Kami Gaming. What if Roshi taught Goku to move well in Dragon Ball and Z? Well, he sort of did, in a way. Like, he just taught him well. I think that's it. Yeah? Basically, if he just taught Goku to better, then maybe Goku would just be stronger, really. Alright, Chrome Bison. Suppose the gods went too far in abusing their power. What if there was a cosmic contingency technique similar to the Spirit Bomb that allowed any number of persons to fuse into one powerful being? Well, technically, Metamorphin fusion can go up to 5 people. Technically.
Yeah.
So I imagine that revelation probably would have been revealed to people. Like, you can do 5 people, but at the moment they keep it to 2 to try and limit it and make sure it's like less game breaking. But otherwise, then you have like Namekian fusion, which is pretty much the most infamous fusion type possible. But again, like in chapter 63, the spoilers are minimal. Let's just say the galaxy has a contingency technique, insurance policy, as you would. We will be discussing that in next week's discussion video. So do pay attention to that. Okay, Vulcan again. Next part of Goku, Bulma, Hercule, and Evil Piccolo. Hercule defeated Roshi's next part will be on the 19th, I believe. Goku x Bulma, not too sure about that one. And what if Dragon Ball Z never happened? Not sure about that one either. Again, a lot of up in the air in the schedule. Paparazzi, what if Goku met Mark during his training? Mark not training but befriending Goku during the Cell Games Goku. Oh, so basically, Goku meets Mark before he becomes Mr. Saturn. But then basically he comes up and then Goku goes, "Oh, hi, Mark." Nice room reference. That'd be worth it for the reference. Alright, Manifesto. What if Masako did a top number of good things in the Buu saga and not just the fusion element? Can you find more good things in the final arc, possibly? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure we could. It's a long arc. You could easily find good stuff. Like, you know, Krillin at 18, having Marin, having the best family in Dragon Ball. Pretty much.
Vegito. Vegito is a good thing to come out of the Buu saga.
Fusion, not counting fusion.
Not just the fusion. Okay, because I was going to say the fusion is a good thing, but if we weren't going to count fusion, I mean, you still get a...
Is it? Sorry.
Well, I mean, Vegito was a good fusion.
Yeah, but I think you know what? I think I might make that a discussion video.
Yeah,
So you know what, Manifesto? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea, Manifesto.
Good idea. Good idea, Manifesto.
Keeper of Necronomicon. What if in the future timeline, Gohan fought in the Junior tournament to earn money for his mom shortly before the androids arrived, allowing him to meet Videl and for future Pan to be a thing? Okay, so basically, because yeah, the 24th World Martial Arts Tournament actually takes part like 5 days before the androids are meant to show up. So Gohan could have done it to earn money, and then basically could have met Videl. And I imagine all the chaos and stuff like that, like Gohan and Videl in the final, and then Videl basically, you know, Gohan likes to try and like find, oh wait, yeah, Videl, be safe and stuff like this, and basically tries to find a way, because Gohan is one of the few that actually survives. So maybe Videl might have been there as his like sidekick almost, and then train her up. So you just get like a future Videl almost.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
That would have been a shred of light in that hopeless future.
Well, and it's so sad because it's like because like, you know, the meta reason for it, right? Is that Videl wasn't a character yet when Toriyama was making the whole future thing, obviously. But I definitely feel like if he'd had the concept of Videl in mind by then, I think we would have definitely seen Videl as a character in that arc. Either as if he was going to do it the bad way, he'd have fridged her and it would have been a source of sorrow for future Gohan. Otherwise, what it could have been is it could have been yet another parental sort of figure for Trunks, because Trunks did look at Gohan as kind of an older brother or even a father figure. And so, since Bulma's always so busy having to do so much work on the time machine, she's a good mom, but she's not quite as present as you probably as a kid in that time would probably hope for. Yeah. So having that extra parental figure would be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe even secretly having, you know, future Pan.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. In the future, like very later on. Yeah. Alright, Manifesto. Hey Masako, I had a Frost older brother what if for Sophie last week. Do you still have it written down for her? I would like to have her opinion maybe. I think we did write this down actually.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Yeah, we sent it to you. We've sent it to you, Stove. It was.
Yeah. Is it in the roundtable section, or did one of you guys send it to me individually? Here it is. Yeah. What if Frost had an older brother? So terrifying and powerful and evil, unlike Frost. I would call him Zickle, like an icicle or sickle weapon. Well, here's the thing: is that if you want to, if you're going to canonize the movie villains, right? Because we've already seen Broly get canonized, and a lot of people are thinking that they're probably gonna rewrite and canonize Cooler next, right? So if Frieza has an older brother, it stands to reason that Frost, being their alternate universe counterpart, could also have an older brother. Now, if this older brother is as evil as you imply, right? But for so long, Frost has had this reputation as a good guy. I would have it be kind of like almost similar to how they did the Moro arc, in that it's a prison break sort of scenario, but for Universe 6. You feature Zickle as a villain specifically so that you can feature the Universe 6 characters as like the protagonists of this particular film or movie or story or whatever. You have it be a Universe 6 scenario, and you do the whole like prison arc thing. And basically you establish that like Frost's reputation as being a good guy was built off of the back of like a betrayal that he did, that nobody knew about it, because but like he betrayed his brother to the authorities in order to build up this reputation of being a good guy, because everybody knew that Zickle was evil, right? He probably had a Frieza mentality, you know, or something like that. He was trying to conquer, or maybe he was a pirate, or what.
So give him a Dark Knight Rises Bane personality.
Yeah, a Dark Knight Rises Bane sort of situation, right? And so when he comes out, the first thing he wants vengeance. He wants vengeance against Frost. So Frost is trying to like get safety by either appealing to the Universe 6 Saiyans or appealing to Hit or something similar. But Zickle's too strong. He's been stewing in his rage this whole time. He's been getting more power, just like how Frieza managed to do it when Frieza was trapped in hell. So you have this whole scenario of buildup where you've got this older brother of Frost who escapes from prison and goes on this rampage, and it's the Universe 6 Saiyans having to team up with Frost to take him down. That's the idea that I would come up with.
Okay, cool. And by the way, Vulcan said, I mean, in Goku defeated Roshi, what if Suno was the secret mother of Gohan because Goku and Chi-Chi are not married, and Goku is single in the what if?
Oh,
so basically an estranged father or something like that? Like Goku,
God, he's a deadbeat!
He is sort of a deadbeat in that, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so basically Gohan exists, but it's the son of Suno.
Like Suno convinced him to do like a one-night stand or something. I don't know. I feel like Suno would ask Goku to marry her in that scenario, and I think as socially awkward and weird and uncouth as Goku has a tendency to be, I feel like that if he's done something that physically intimate, he would at least agree to marry the girl. I don't think he'd be that much of a deadbeat, but if we're gonna go into that scenario and say that yeah, Gohan is a Jon Snow in this scenario, he just doesn't have to worry about being scorned by Chi-Chi. I think Gohan would grow up with a certain level of resentment, not just at Goku, but at his own mom, because I mean, you know, obviously, like, at what point does Suno tell Goku, you have a child, you know, you have a son, and how does that affect Gohan being raised? It's an interesting scenario, I'll grant you.
Okay, alright. Paparazzi asks, have I watched Infinity Train yet? No. Again, there's been a lot of stuff going on, and again, it's really not readily available in the UK. I need to try and find a streaming service where it is, because I would rather want to watch it, legitimately.
Legally.
What if Vegeta and Goku switch bodies on Namek? Okay. I imagine probably the same thing that happened with Ginyu, happening with Vegeta and Goku. Like, sure, they're in all those different bodies, but do they know how to use the techniques and their bodies to the full potential? No.
I mean, it's a still Saiyan body. It's easier to manage.
Easier, but not entirely possible. Like, yeah, you get, the basic Saiyan mechanics, but it'd be better than what Ginyu had, but it still would not be at the full maximum because it tells the techniques and stuff. So, I feel like, you know, they might do well, but they wouldn't be at the full potential. It'd be just comedic gags. So it's like, well, Vegeta, I sure know what it's like to be in your shoes, because I was in them.
And I sure,
And they were
I
more
sure
like boots.
and I sure realized how empty your head was, Kakarot. There wasn't enough room for my giant brain.
So there you go. Guardian.
Not enough room or too much? No,
Sure.
not enough.
Guardian treat. What if Gohan and Goten tried setting up their mom on a date with Piccolo during the 7-year time skip because she was lonely and it worked? Oh man, Goten goes, well, Mr. Piccolo seems like a lonely kind of man.
It's like, Goten, like, I appreciate this, but Namekians don't really need life partners. It's like, I have the wasteland
Oh man, I
for
wish I
that.
could. I wish I could find it again, but like a long time ago, there was a post that I saw on Tumblr of a piece of artwork of a Japanese style wedding ceremony between Piccolo and Chi-Chi during the time period when Goku is dead, and I can't remember the artist, and I've never been able to find the picture again. But it's got like Goku, he's looking on from heaven, and he's like upset at it, but like it's such a super zen and like wholesome picture that I'm kind of into it as a concept, even with Namekians not needing, you know, life partners or significant others or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Okay, next one is Manifesto. Hey, Masako. I know you got a busy schedule, and I hope I can get your feedback on the 3 cell form I sent you. I really hope you like them. Yes, I do see them in my inbox, and I will have some time next week to have a look through them. But I have seen them. They are still in my inbox. Team Bella, from the Resurrection F movie and anime, what if King Cold told Frieza to never challenge 3 fighters instead of 2, namely Beerus, Majin Buu, and the Supreme Kai? Say pre-Golden Frieza hated Shin and the feeling was mutual. Well, that would make sense why Shin keeps comparing everybody to being stronger than Frieza. Like, because technically,
Yeah.
Shin is stronger than Frieza, but like, you know, not by much.
Not anymore.
Which makes it extra interesting that among the people that King Cold apparently told Frieza never to butt heads with, it was Majin Buu and Beerus, but he made no mention of the Kaioshin of the universe. So it's like, oh yes, I'm totally fine with you picking a fight with Kaioshin. He's an absolute pushover.
Oh no, tell me what would be the most hilarious thing that you've seen in my life. It's like,
I once showed him a planet with only flowers of them. Flowers, my son. Can you imagine that?
oh father, that is absolutely hilarious. I should have to try that for myself. Oh. Alright, cool Arctic. What if Goku was sent to Beerus' planet? We did cover this in our latest FAQ video, by the way. So you can check out that video. It's called the What If Chi-Chi Was a Saiyan and More video. So you can get your answer there. Jack Doubt, what if Turles was important and wasn't not Goku? Well, we did do a video again about like how we would change Turles and like improve their character and not making them, you know, complete clones of Goku.
Yeah, I will link it in the chat because I
Yes,
see.
we shall link it in the chat, Jack, for you. So be sure to tag Jack Doubt in that because it'll be to his liking. Kenshin, him dancing for Beerus would be the weirdest post-traumatic stress. Oh, something like that? Oh, because of Boo or something like that, I think. Or like, something to do with Vegeta because if he was in the Ginyu Force or something. Basically, Vegeta goes, and now the dance of forgiveness. And then, like, Beerus would be the weirdest plot. Okay. Okay, Brother Malachi, thank you very much for the super sticker, by the way. Cute little fox doing punchy punch. Decking people in the schnoz. Army Yumi fan 101. What if Khalifa and Kale were in Dragon Ball? Well, if they were in Dragon Ball, we don't really know how old they are. So at best, I think they would be children. So they would be like kid Saiyans almost. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they're in their early 30s or something like that in Super.
No.
I kind of work with the idea that like a lot of fans have, which is that Caulifla and Kale are alternate universe versions of OG Broly and Goku.
Okay.
So I would say that Caulifla and Kale are of an age with Goku.
So in their 40s,
So
pretty much.
in OG Dragon Ball, they would be 12-ish.
Okay. All right. So if we basically swapped Broly and Goku with Caulifla and Kale, so
I would say I feel that they are of Gohan. I think they are like.
it's annoying with Saiyans because you can't tell.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, yeah, because I mean they're gonna stay young until they hit 80.
And then they age very quickly. So yeah, that's the annoying part of it. But if they were, they're facsimiles. So Caulifla is a facsimile of Goku, only a bit more aggressive, like more intimidating. So you just
she's got this delinquent aggressive personality, so you've got she's very much this Goku had Goku not hit his head sort of scenario if he also had chock full of high school tropes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Manifesto. What if Raditz gave yet another revelation in the beginning of Z before fighting Piccolo and Goku that Piccolo was a Namekian earlier? Yet another big shock. Okay, so Piccolo would not really get much of it, but Kami would just be like, oh my, now I know. So there'd be a lot more research done into Namekians, and then there'd be the Namekian ship. They'd find Kami's old ship. So basically they'd save a lot more time. And like, oh, I make Dragon Balls. Maybe they can go there. So they would have been able, I think Bulma would have gone to Namek sooner. And like say, hey, can we borrow your Dragon Balls? Because we have these guys that we, as a backup. So they'd just go to Namek much earlier. And Frieza wouldn't be there. Yeah. The Frieza Force wouldn't be there.
Yeah, they'd have already started the retrofitting for the Namekian ship a lot earlier,
that didn't
which
take
means
long at all. So that took very.
It took a little over, I think, a little over a couple of weeks. I actually did the time stuff in my What If Krillin Had a Power Up video for the sake of knowing how long everybody had for like training and stuff like that. But like the whole journey as a whole takes only like a little under 2 months between retrofitting the ship and actually getting to Namek.
Okay.
So you have a lot of time in between Raditz's arrival and the Saiyan arrival of Vegeta and Nappa.
Do you know what? That would be a nice little discussion video. I don't think it could be a full one. But if you just say, for example, Bulma and Krillin go off to Namek to like go and find the Dragon Balls. Like Krillin's the muscle, pretty much. And then Krillin goes and he does some training in the background. He trains with Nail for a little bit. He then gets his potential unlocked by Guru. So then his power level would be quite high. I mean, basically, Krillin would somehow come back and be sort of toe-to-toe with Nappa. Like, this little bald guy versus the big bald guy.
It's like, Vegeta, I don't understand. The little bald guy's beating the big bald guy, and the big bald guy's me. This does not make sense, Vegeta. Oh, this makes perfect sense, Nappa. Small guys always... Big things come in small packages. What, Vegeta? I don't really understand. That's because you don't understand you're tall. Oh, okay, Vegeta. I get it.
I can lift,
It's like, I may be small, but I can lift. If I get out of this, I'm gonna rock that 4-foot guy's world. Because I'm gonna kill him!
So, yeah. No, interesting idea. Interesting idea, Manny. And then Manny has another one. What if Piccolo and Alibu were canon, possibly? I would love that to be the case. And you can see that in my What If Future Gohan Survived video coming up, the finale, on Tuesday. Oh, no,
also, we have another episode of that. What if we rebooted a character and made it canon about Piccolo? So,
yeah, exactly. We do have that. Okay. And Manifesto again. What if some fights in Z were uninterrupted, like Gohan and Deborah and Piccolo and 17 fights, for example? How would they be different in the story? Okay, so basically if Gohan actually defeated Dabura, it means that Dabura would be completely gone. Not being able to be turned into... basically, it would be a big blow for Barbody in that sense. Piccolo in 17. Piccolo would have lost 17 because, you know, Infinity Engine. Piccolo would have either been pretty much, like, knocked unconscious or barely alive. But basically, he would have lost. So, unfortunately...
I think 17 was enjoying this that much that I don't think he would kill Piccolo.
Sorry, what was
At
it?
this point. 17 would enjoy this fight so much that he wouldn't kill Piccolo.
Oh no,
He would-
basically, he would still win, but he would just let him go.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying, it's fun. Then we'll fight again or something. Like 17 would, because 17 is not a bad guy in Z. He's just a delinquent. He's just a jerk.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Paparazza. What if Yamcha married Marin? And that's like Krillin's ex. You know what?
Oh,
They would
boy.
actually be. You know what? That would actually sort of work. You
Well,
know?
yeah, I mean, if Yamcha still has his baseball career, right, then he
Yeah.
already has the means of supporting someone who's into the who's into the fame and fortune aspect of dating someone like him.
Basically
And
someone
honestly,
basic.
Yamcha's got the works when you really think about it. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got a good career.
Yeah, he
he's
can,
got
he catches
he's
basic
got a
women.
yeah. And so like Marin would have really hit the jackpot if she landed Yamcha, and Yamcha would have also come out ahead as well because he'd have a devoted girlfriend who basically, honestly, the only reason I could see Yamcha dating Marin, because I feel like Yamcha in truth is not as much of a womanizer or
No.
cheater as Bulma made him out to be, especially since like his dream goal in OG Dragon Ball was because he was an orphan who had to steal to survive and all this other stuff, he wanted to be able to have a stable life with a family and kids and a wife. So like that was his dream
And the
in
one
OG
thing we
Dragon
have to
Ball.
remember with Marin, of
So-
course, is that in that last scene of like Krillin lets her go, she says, "If you asked me to marry you, I would have said yes."
Yeah.
That,
And
people
so-
don't remember that.
I feel like if he did date her, I think he would come to care for her legitimately. I think it wouldn't have started that way, though. Because if there's one thing that everybody knows about Marin, it's that she looks a lot like Bulma. She's Bulma if the bombshell was cranked up to 11 at the loss of some of her like genius intellect, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if Yamcha met her, at first he'd be interested in her because she reminds him a lot of Bulma. But then as he got to know her more and realized how different like in personality and interests they are, he'd come to like her for those other reasons. And I think if they got married, they'd actually make a good couple. And it's not a bad concept, because at least it gives Yamcha something. And if you had him retire to married life, right? If you had him like get out of the game entirely so that he doesn't pop up every now and then just to be the butt of some joke, being like, "Hey guys, I'm still here living lonely in my apartment with my friend Poir, and the only thing I'm good at is baseball now." I mean, it would be a lot kinder of an ending for Yamcha than we get in Super.
Yeah, not gonna lie, that is definitely true. Godzilla, what if Dragon Ball Multiverse was started today? I'm not gonna lie, but a lot of people would be saying, "Hey, you're copying Masako's What Ifs." Like, there would be a lot of people because, hey, back in the day when I did Naruto Bridge, people were going, "Hey, you're copying Little Karibo." You know, basically it happens. That's what happens on the internet. But I imagine there'd be a lot of competition, and things would be a lot more... People could be like, they'd be a bit more dubious about things. So, again, there'd be a lot more competition. But Dragon Ball Multiverse has been around a long time. It has that nostalgia going for it as well. As well as actually being a genuinely interesting what-if scenario. So, it has a lot of things
Also,
going for it.
real quick, yes, this is the picture that I was looking for, and it's fantastic. I love it. I'll share it with you guys in the Discord real quick so that you guys can experience the beauty of it.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. I think I saw this one.
Mm.
Yes, I love it. Anyway, thank you for finding that for me, guys. I've been looking for that picture forever.
Oh. Okay. Axel Jade. What if Uub actually replaced Goku as the main protagonist for GT? Potential for the series to shift away from transformations and power levels for a mixed focus on martial arts and magic? Hell yeah! That'd be great if GT had its own gimmick. Like, you didn't have Super Saiyans, but Uub had this magical genie power locked inside of him. And then it culminates at the end of it of fusing with Majin Buu to get Marjube at the end of the series.
And we could use Pan as a foil for him, like
Yeah.
friend slash foil, because she would hold a grudge against Uub because her grandpa has left her
Yeah.
for for training him. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Goku Sambraya, what if Goku became smart at Vegeta level? Well, he already where it counts, they are actually just as smart as one another. It's just Goku's is gained through natural instinct, whereas Vegeta has acquired it over time. Basically, they are just as intelligent. Maybe Vegeta even more intelligent in terms of fighting, but Vegeta had to earn that over time, whereas Goku just was born with it. You know, maybe it's Maybelline. Just saying. Josh Leonard, thank you very much for your contribution. And Manifesto was referring to that. His name is Zickle, like icicle and weapon. But yeah, it's a good name. It's a good name. Jack Down, if 21 from Fighters appears in canon, what if she did? No clone business. Well, just watch R&R. We've come up with something. But when you'll find that out, you'll have to wait and see for that. But we do have a plan. And we have it in some sort of comic form. So we will get that back to you. Okay. Luis Suaza, what if Zangia was canon and was good? Okay, a lot of people do ask this. So if Zangia was good, basically survived Bojack turning on her, I think she would then try and find some kind of solace, trying to find someone she recognizes, and then go for Krillin. You'd have this love triangle thing with Zangia and 18, and then eventually
at the end, 18 and Zangia would become besties.
They would become besties, yes. And then you get Zangia, 18, Chi-Chi, and Bulma going to the shopping mall, hanging out together, the herons, and if there's one good thing about Bojack, he had a very good appreciation for German architecture. You know? So basically, she becomes an architect.
Yeah.
That's her job. Zangia becomes an architect.
But not any architect, she would build battle arenas.
Yes.
Fighters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a certain particular thing. R3 King, what if instead of the time pod, future Bulma develops tech to send her mind back in time, like ReZero or Steins Gate? Like, sending them back to, the time before the Cell games and before Dragon Ball started. So basically, she transplanted her mind into her old body.
What you're saying is that Bulma has become Ho-In-Kyoma!
Oh, there we go. There you go.
Now I'm picturing her doing the pose.
Oh, yeah. But in reality, she basically, there would be some joke about wow, I was smoking hot back then. I still am. There'd be some kind of reference to that. Because there is in Dragon Ball. She always makes the odd comment about her appearance. But then, she'd go, okay, Bulma, focus. Okay, Bulma, focus. Let's get on with this. She would then get her eyes on the prize. And then...
Kurisutina. Sorry, I'm distracted.
Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much what
I think it would have a little bit... I think it would have a little bit more horror elements as well, because the comparison here that's being made is like ReZero or Steins Gate, and if there's one thing about the time travel in those two series that really stands out, it's the fact that it comes at a gruesome cost. Like Kyoma goes through his time travel over and over and over again, trying to right the wrongs of the world line, that he messes up so many times, and it's such a slog. It's such a traumatic experience that his mind is totally wrecked by the time everything's done. He's totally been frayed by this whole thing. And ReZero is much the same, in the sense that, like, you have to witness a lot of messed up crap and then die in order to go back in time. So, like, the first experience of it, right, would probably come, if this is specifically like future Bulma, right, that would mean that the first time she time travels would be when Goku Black kills her in the Goku Black arc. So how far back in time is she sent? You know, is she sent back as far as OG Dragon Ball? Is she sent back as far as just, like, you know, before the Android saga happened, so that now she has an opportunity to fix the Android saga? How does that work? And just how damaging would that be for somebody who was this adult with a life and a child, and you know, how would that affect her, and how would she, in an attempt to make things better, mess things up and then have to continue to try again? It would go well out of the shonen genre and into, like, seinen horror thriller. Like, you'd be getting some real trauma.
Yeah, I'd say. Okay, right. Lucky Hacker, thank you very much for your contribution. Vulcan, thoughts on Gohan's alternate design for the Buu saga? I don't know which one you're referring to. I mean, basically, I think the alternate design is like what we got for Resurrection F. It probably just doesn't look as intimidating or badass. But then again, you don't confuse, like, adult Gohan's look to Yamcha from the Android Saga's look, because they look very, very similar. All right.
I actually really liked Gohan's training gi in the Buu saga. Is a design I really liked, and I was kind of upset that it didn't have a bit more prevalence, you know, because he dons the Great Saiyaman outfit for a long time, and then he starts wearing that Goku gi, and I've never actually, even though it's got a somewhat different color scheme, you know, it's more red than it is orange. But I've never cared for Gohan dressing like Goku. I never thought it matched his personality, and I never thought it matched his style, because ultimately Gohan might have spent some time training with Goku, but his real mentor is Piccolo.
Yeah.
And
what I must say about Toyotaro, the one improvement in TOP is that Gohan is wearing Piccolo style adult.
Yes, the Piccolo style gi is definitely what I like more.
No, definitely. Vulcan, what if Pan appeared in the Future Trunks timeline? Again, this sort of goes back to what we were talking about in the previous question. Basically, if Pan was in there, I feel like Gohan would be a bit more careful about Pan, because Pan would be like a little girl. So, at the very least, he probably would be in contact with Chi-Chi, and, like, say, like, if things were getting very serious, like, take Pan, look after her, as in, like, you know, and it gives something Chi-Chi to focus on, like some kind of solace in some way and connection.
If Pan were a thing, this is how I would think Toriyama would have written it, right? You have this bad future society, so obviously, like, it's harder to get to a hospital, it's harder to take care of a woman going through labor, and we already have the backstory, right, of Videl's mother died in childbirth, so there's a precedent for that. So if you were going to have Pan be in the bad future storyline, then it would be written like this, probably. Videl and Gohan still met each other. They still wound up falling in love. Whether or not they get married is irrelevant, but they do have this child. She gets pregnant, but the labor is difficult, and they don't have the right facilities or people on hand to help her get through the labor without extreme difficulty. And so she gets sick, and she dies. And I think that would negatively affect Gohan very badly. And so I think that what would wind up happening is he would actually wind up neglecting Pan, because his entire idea is, if I defeat the androids and we find new Namek, then I can make this all better, and I can make up for all of the however long I neglect her in the now, if I manage to get this done, right? So he becomes this very bad dad, essentially. And so Pan, who's this very little girl, because you got to remember, this is around the time that Super would be happening, so she would be an infant or toddler, no older than like 3 or 4 by the time like this really starts to get set in motion when Trunks goes back in time. Her parental figures would be more or less like her big brother Trunks, essentially, and the person she would feel like is more like her mother, right, would be Bulma. And Bulma probably wouldn't mind at all treating her like a daughter in this sense. So I feel like she'd be closer to them than she would her actual dad, and then he dies. And I think it would lead to Pan becoming a stowaway. Trunks would go back in time only to find out that Pan, small as she is, fit into the time machine, managed to hide herself, and she pops out at an inopportune time, and you wind up with a plot point where like she wants to meet her past family, you know, like her grandfather and so on and so forth, and she also winds up meeting her dad when her dad was a kid, so that she can learn to understand him better. That's how I would go about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I would agree with that. That's definitely really good. Okay. Right, next one. Sean Kinch says hi, and thank you very much for your contribution, mate. The Lurker. What if Yamcha was the main character? Well, you could read the manga The Case of Being Reincarnated as Yamcha. It is a very good manga, and I am so glad it's got an official release. Like,
yes,
really glad.
It's so good.
I really recommend that manga, Lurker. Because that just shows if Yamcha had the initiative and knew about everything that would happen, that's what he'd do. That's what you get.
It's very short, and it doesn't go too extreme with it, which is something I thought was really good.
It's very believable. Very believable, definitely. Vulcan, what if Goku and Turles were twin brothers? Well, you basically would have, like, I imagine if they were, like, from a, say, twin brothers from a different mother. Like, I would imagine. Like, maybe, like, hey, Bardock had a fling with Fasha, or something like that, and produced Turles, this much more aggressive, surly, and seedier Saiyan. So yeah, basically Bardock and Seripa have a kid, and it's Turles. So,
I actually have an idea. Like, Kakarot lands on Earth, is that wild child, and Gohan has access to Kami, and Kami purifies Kakarot, and you have Kakarot and Turles.
Okay, there we go. I'll like
interesting.
Okay, that's
so Turles is the evil half, basically.
Right. Okay.
Real quick, did we make sure to say hello to Sean Kinch?
Yeah, we did say. We did.
Okay. I wanted to make sure because I think I might have missed that. But hello, Sean.
We did.
Thank you for your super chat.
Part of the super chat and said hello. So we did. We were sure to do that for him. So there we go. Okay. All right. Then OC Maniac goes, "Hey guys, hope you're doing good. Tell the Aronauts I said hi and hope they're doing well." Well, hey OC. Again, thank you so much, buddy. And Carl Thorne, what if Naruto was born in Universe 10? Oh man, we'd have him.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna be the Hokage. I mean Supreme Kai. We'd have this irrational desire to be a Supreme Kai despite not being a Shinjin, or something like that.
See now all I'm picturing is just people referring to Naruto as Ninja Goku during the course of it and getting him really upset about it.
Yeah.
I did have a ninja dream too, but it ended.
It ended.
Yeah. There'd just be this irrational desire to be a Supreme Kai, despite the fact he was not a Kai person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course you get Sasuke, who's training to be a god of destruction.
Yeah. Oh, of course, definitely. All right. Okay, with that, that is the end for today. Thank you all so much for your super chats and your contributions. Thank you again, Sophie and Hab, for your work.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yes, we shall all see you very soon on Tuesday for the next What If, which is the Broly in the Android Saga What If finale. So look forward to that, as well as the schedule and the morning doggo. So,
More Broly.
yes, once again. Oh, Podo has one more question. So just make it quick, Podo.
One last question, huh? Let's go quick.
Let's go quick because
They need to go to bed.
yeah, I do because I gotta get up. I gotta go up and walk the doggo in the morning.
Yeah.
About 7 o'clock.
And I returned from the wedding today, so
Yeah, I think we all need a good sleep. That's for sure.
Oh God, I've been getting such bad sleep recently, just the worst, and it's really tearing me up. Ugh.
Mm. And Podo asked, "What if you covered the real life impacts of the what ifs?" So real life impacts? Oh, like
As in, like, from a meta concept, like how it would have affected fandom.
oh right, like I mean, I guess we could make a discussion video about that, but I guess that would be very self-flagellation almost. Like go like,
The
oh
effects
yes,
on pop culture in these.
yeah, so,
Yeah, the effects of pop culture
it'd
on
be
these alternate
self-flagellating in a
realities.
way, because I'd be going, oh yes, if I did that, I would change the course of the history of the fandom forever, because I'm
God.
so great. No, I couldn't.
I don't think anybody wants to watch a video where you're just patting yourself on the back.
me.
Yeah. But okay.
I win. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's wrap this up, everybody. So, good night, everybody, and we shall see you once again.
Good night,
very
everyone.
soon. All right.
See ya.
Goodbye.